We're live, rolling, and something. That's how you know it's the last tournament of the year. This is the last Beach Access, your last recap of the year. Bittersweet, a little bit bitter because we have no more beach volleyball. Sweet because I'm tired.
Yes.
And my throat's tired. Kyle and I'm Travis Werder, that's Kyle Friend. We did, what, 4, 6, 8, 22 matches each?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of volleyball.
A lot of chatting beach volleyball, and we love it. We hope that you guys have enjoyed our commentary, kind of tinkered with some new content in the back half of the year after the Paris Olympic Games, and we got to finish as we have the last 3 years in Doha, Qatar. Very cool park out here at the Aspire Zone. Great facilities at the Aspire Dome. Great gym out there. And couldn't have been a more fitting, poetic end to the season. You have the men's gold medal match that everyone wanted to see at the Paris Olympic Games. Takes place here at the finals in Doha. Norway versus Sweden. Kyle, what a treat.
Oh man, it's the one you were waiting for. When I saw them win both of their semifinals, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a game. And they put on an absolute show. The fans were out, which was awesome. And Anders Mol, I think, is the topic of discussion for us on the air a bunch. And he had just a different energy, a different swagger to him, a little bit of a FU swagger, which we had referenced up there. And we thought maybe because with the addition of Adrian Karambula, that he's got this different energy. And when he decided to take over games, it's exactly what he did. And he was aggressive with his serve. He was aggressive with his swings. He took options when possible. And Sorum, credit to Sorum, he got served 90% of the balls. He passed phenomenal. He sided out almost perfect for the whole tournament long. We had a chat briefly with Adrian Karambula, who I think I'm still have chills from the energy he was pumping out.
You want a pep talk? Talk to your boy Adrian Karambula. You will run through a wall for that dude.
It is unbelievable. And the energy he was providing and what he said that stuck out to me most, I'm sure for you as well, is that the talk with the boys is they need to reconnect with their why. They've done everything. They've won everything. And so what is the why? Why are you still playing this game? And the word he said is that he wanted to do psychological damage to teams. Change, not just beat them, psychological damage. And that's what it felt like from Anders and Christian. It felt different. It felt forceful. It felt like they were leaving a message. And I mean, I'm excited to see if he continues with them, what's going to happen with them. Sweden came up just a little bit short in the finals. They played an amazing tournament. They went 3 a lot. Not as good as we're used to seeing them. And credit to Andy and Christian because they made them very, very uncomfortable in the finals.
Well, that energy that we saw from Anders, I first noticed it against Germany's Nils Ehlers and Clemens Wickler in the quarterfinals, where I said that Anders is going Super Saiyan, he's going Supernova, he's going Norse God mode, whatever you want to call it. Anders went to a new plane. The velocity with which he was hitting, the angles that he was hitting, a lot of times you'll see Anders, he's uber talented and he gets a little cute, hits these short little shots, and he can execute, but there's no one who can stop him when he's swinging like that, and no one did. Germany didn't do it, Qatar didn't do it, Sweden couldn't do it, and Sweden, that has been the best team in the world this season, and they had no answers for Anders Mol. Nobody had answers for Anders Mol. When he hits that plane, it's crazy to see that he elevated to a level that he hasn't yet been, and we thought we've seen it all. Right? He's been the best player in the world for the last 6 years, and he just put on a show that said, I'm still the best, and I still don't think it's particularly close. That's how convinced I am of how Anders played.
No, and it was more than just the attacking from Anders. Yes, obviously the blocking. He had 8 blocks in one match. He had, I think, 6 or so in the finals. But it was those extra scrappy plays. The cover late on maybe set point, I think, for Sweden in that second set. Full layout, very Bale-esque, as we talked about on the broadcast. And it was like the never say quit attitude. Not saying he didn't used to have that. It just seemed more purposeful, more intentional in this tournament. I don't know. It just felt different. And it was so fun to see.
It was a lot of fun to see. Extra fun because we were just up top commentating. We got to enjoy it. We didn't have to be on the receiving end of these missiles. And so huge congratulations to Anders and Christian, their 3rd Beach Pro Tour finals, coming back to Norway, 4th straight won by Scandinavia as a whole. So 2018, Anders and Christian. 2021, 2022, Anders and Christian. 2023 went to Sweden. 24 goes back to Norway. Sweden, they weren't their best, But I think it is a testament to how talented they are. They go through their first 5 matches, win them all. Had no business, in my opinion, winning that semifinal over York de Groot and Stefan Bormans. But that's what elite teams do. You find ways to win when your best isn't available. Their best wasn't really available the entire week, and they just figured it out.
Yeah, they figured it out, and Bormans and de Groot pushed them to the brink, and they had it in their grasp. 2 match points for Bormans and de Groot, and they had opportunities, they had swings, and Sweden just held on and kept fighting, and they walked away victorious. And Jonathan Helvig, Anders, we talked about being the best blocker in the world, but Helvig was doing stuff this weekend that was truly impressive. Just taking over games, making his presence felt, low and over, making these big moves together with his hands. And he got served a lot of balls. A lot of balls, and he sided out really, really well for the whole tournament. It wasn't really till the finals that he started missing a little bit deep, a little bit here, and if it wasn't Anders' block, it was Anders forcing those balls out of bounds. And David, the last dig on the last point was an unbelievable dig from David Allman, low, just keeping the ball alive. It was like, we're not done yet. He's doing everything possible to keep it alive. It just came up a little bit short. But yeah, they got pushed to the brink from York and Bormans, who put on an amazing performance this weekend as well. They were playing some of their best volleyball. Bormans leading the tournament in aces. Mr. Boom Boom himself, your fantasy superstar. They were really, really good. York is smooth as water. I love that comparison because that's the way he plays, that's the way he moves on the court, and he really made a statement, I think, this weekend as well.
He did. Great tournament for the Netherlands. Came up just shy of the podium. Huge congratulations to Sharif Yunus and Ahmed Tijan for winning bronze, coming back from I don't even want to say it was a lackluster semifinal performance over Norway. They were fine. Norway was just spectacular.
Yeah.
And then they came back to win in 3 over Boom Boom and York de Groot. Sharif Yunus, 10 blocks in that bronze medal match. He went to a level I haven't seen him go to in a long time. Yeah. That was the most dominant I've seen Sharif at the net. And we've had the pleasure of commentating a lot of his matches. And then, of course, Ever the Entertainer goes to the crowd, just adored by everyone. And Ahmed is just such a scrappy player, but I was so impressed with what Sharif was able to do in that match.
Oh yeah, Sharif was all over the court at the net, taking options when possible. The short poke back working so well, aggressive with his serve, controlling the pass. I thought he passed really well. He led the tournament in overall points with 140.
Wow.
Led the tournament. So a lot of those were blocks, a lot of those were kills. It just, it felt like he had some extra motivation, I think, to play maybe from friends and family here in Doha. Mm-hmm. And him and Ahmed, you can just never count them out, how scrappy, how gritty they are. They had some wild, crazy plays. A huge chicken wing dig from Ahmed.
Yes, couple of them.
Couple of them. But the one on match point to secure the game was unbelievable. Super high, and then he comes in and barrels it down the middle to the seam to beat Bormans and de Groot. I mean, credit to them, and we had a fun chat with Sharif, and he's just an absolute joy and hilarious. And it was talking smack with Adrian, and Adrian's like, "You're welcome. You're welcome. Santa's here giving you gifts." I mean, it's just hilarious. It was hilarious.
It's cool to see them back on the podium. It had been 504 days since they podiumed when they made the final in João Pessoa, and then a month later, boom, boom, they're back on it again. Qatar, tremendous end to the season, and another huge end to the season for guess who? TK and Kristen Nuss and Taryn Cloth pick up their 3rd gold medal of the season, back-to-back Beach Pro Tour Finals champions. So in 2 tournaments, Kyle, they've made $300,000.
Oh my God, oh my God. It's crazy the paycheck that these athletes are walking away with here, and they deserve it. At the end of the day, beach volleyball athletes, we don't make a lot of money. We don't make a lot. This tournament, this is the big one. If you want to bring out the big guns, this is the tournament to do it. And Taryn and Kristen, they played amazing volleyball all weekend long. They had 1 loss late in pool play to
Germany's Sinja Tillman and Svenja Müller.
Yeah, and we talked about that a bit on air and off air about how beneficial that could have been for the mentality of TKN, because if you go in just beating and crushing teams, which they kind of dusted a few teams, Mel and Brandy, 21-11, silver medalist.
When Kristen has as many digs in a match as Mel and Brandy have combined points, 22. That's a pretty wild number.
It's locked in, it's laser focused, and they had that loss to Germany, and then they came back out this morning with that same intensity, and they crushed semifinal game against
China.
Smashed China. China looked like a ghost of themselves in that match.
They just didn't show up. And which is a bummer because I still think Chen Xiu and Xin Yisha are the most underrated team in the world, and it wasn't an accident that they made the semifinals. And it is a credit to Kristen and Taryn that they didn't let China show up, but Kristen and Taryn, they just walked all over them.
I mean, it wasn't even close, and we were so impressed with China this weekend. I was so impressed with Shaw and how her ability to score in different ways, and they're a real joy to watch. But Taryn and Kristen said, yeah, next. And then in the finals against Therese and Meg, close, back and forth. T and Meg had a lead in the first, they had a lead in the second, and here comes TKN. Here comes Nuss with a late scoop. Here comes Taryn with a big block. And you said it on air, they just know how to win.
They know how to win.
They got it. They just got it.
Winning's a skill. Kristen Nuss, the all-time winningest player in NCAA beach volleyball history. Her and Taryn Cloth, only team to finish the season undefeated since the NCAA took over. Obviously, Kelly Chang and Sarah Hughes, they put together a magnificent run while they were in college. But winning's a skill.
Yeah.
And we were chatting with Therese, who the scar tissue from all these silver medals is starting to add up. But I told her that Nick Lucena, one of my good friends, assistant coach at Florida State, he didn't win his first international event until he was 35. And Therese has been knocking on the door. And her and Megan Kraft are just getting better and better and better. And they have a legitimate case to make as the number 2 team in the United States right now. You can't accidentally win 4 straight medals. Silver in Stade, bronze in Vienna, another silver in Rio, silver here at the Beach Pro Tour Finals, and they're playing incredible. And their development as a team, Meg's development as an offensive player, hitting from 9-10 feet off the net regularly and executing all of them. And they were up 14-11. First set 14-11, second set 14-11, twice. They gave it away, so it's tied 14s. And I was chatting with their coach, Mike Plachek, after, and he is as stressed as any coach, right? And he just kind of shrugged it off. He said that was a great match. And it was a high-level match. Therese and Meg are in that discussion. They are in this pantheon. They belong here.
Yeah, and it's really cool to see that, the growth. We've been watching them for a very long time. You talked about Therese going through 6 country quotas, never making it in, finally getting a win with your wife, and a 1-star getting in. And
Megan, never forget, that plate's still hanging right in our kitchen.
But it's cool to see their growth as a team. It's a fairly new team on the World Tour and for USA, and they have the chemistry, they have the mesh, they have the right combination of pieces. They're getting better. The confidence is growing, especially for Therese Cannon, who's been playing for a while. And Megan Kraft, I think, brings out the best in her.
Yes.
And I'm excited for the future of them. Excited for Megan Kraft, who's only 22 years young, who is now just becoming a defender. Let's just remind everybody, it's like her first year playing defense, and she's here in the gold medal match at the finals. And she's doing unbelievable stuff at 6'1", running around like a 5'7" defender. I was so impressed with them, and it was an absolute joy to watch them in a USA final. Obviously, we're a little bit biased, being from the United States, but it was.
Is that a bald eagle I see?
It was
Doha? Weird.
So strange.
Weird.
But yeah, the USA came to play this tournament. They were hungry. Both teams came out to play, and Therese and Meg didn't lose a match all weekend long.
Nope.
They were crushing.
The only team to go into the finals undefeated.
Crushing
Played
teams.
fantastic. And another team, maybe the surprise team of the tournament for me, Kyle, is oddly enough the number 1 seed. Tina Gradina, Anastasia Samoilova. So just a little bit of background. If you didn't tune in and watch this on the live stream, well, Tina and Anastasia didn't practice for the last 3 months. Tina's been in New York City at an internship. Anastasia maybe got some reps with her husband, Misha, but they weren't practicing together. Tina got some reps with Sarah Wood, one of the best high school players in the country. And so they came in and they were rusty to say the least, and they just sort of worked their way back into shape. Required a 3-set win over China just to break pool. Required another 3-setter over Kachastam and Reisaskun just to get into the semifinals, and they just sort of figured it out.
Yeah.
And they came away with a bronze medal, and that bronze medal is their 5th of the season. They came into this with 4 medals total in their careers, and so a huge breakthrough for Tina. Huge congratulations to them on what is, to me, a most unexpected of bronze medals.
Yeah, if you came here early in this tournament and you saw Latvia play, you were like, well, they're probably not going to break pool.
A little choppy.
A little choppy, a little slow. The passing is usually the first thing to go. As we know, with this Mikasa ball, it's very unforgiving. The passing was a little shaky. The setting was a little shaky, and they just didn't look, they looked like a ghost of themselves, like we talked about with China, a ghost of themselves. And we kept talking about, well, every match, they're just going to get a little better. Every match, Tina's going to feel a little bit better, more confident in the swinging, more confident in the placement. Anastasia really got better as the match progressed. She was up there in total points scored for the women's side, and her arm swing, moving it around, finding different ways to score. they were really locked in that bronze medal match, and it was cool to see that, and I'm happy for them because as we talked to Tina after pool play, she's like, you just gotta fake it till you make it. Because she knew she wasn't playing her best, and that's a sign, I think, of a really great athlete. Knowing where you're at with your body and with your skill level, not going in having these expectations like, well, I'm an Olympian, I should be doing this, I should be doing that. And like, hey, I know I haven't been playing, so I'm gonna go out there and do my best. And she kept talking about how it's just icing on the cake that we're here, we're at this point, we made it to the semis, and so it was really awesome and happy for them, and they walked home with the bronze medal.
Yep. No faking that.
No.
That's real.
That's real.
That's real. You're bringing home a tangible gift. And so those are all the big breakthrough moments. And we said that the 2024 farewell tour continued.
Yes.
So we had our official final goodbye to Agatha Bednarzuk, one of the best to ever do it from Brazil. And then we had our final goodbye to Paolo Nicolai. Now we're still going to see a lot of Paolo. He is stepping into a coaching role, and so he's sort of the head of the Italian Federation, which Sam Codafava will be the new face of as a player, with Paolo Nicolai and both him and Adrian Carambola stepping into coaching roles. And so, Sammy, it's yours.
I mean, if you're going to place a federation into the hands of anybody, I think Samuele Codafava is a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty phenomenal. And when I was interviewing Nicolai to say goodbye, Samuele was like, "Well, I'm going to see a lot of Paolo because he's going to be coaching me." And he's just really proud. He was really happy that he got to play with Paolo, and it meant a lot to him. And how exciting for Sam and the Italian Federation that they get someone of the volleyball caliber, but of a human caliber in Paolo Nicolai that gets to help build and mold a culture from the ground up and maybe kind of reset and restart something really special in the Italian Federation.
And so, Italian Federation in good hands. Brazil Federation, we're never having to worry about you guys. You guys have next man up, next woman up in this case. So on to superlatives.
Yes,
friends.
yes.
I want to know your MVP of the Beach Pro Tour Finals. Let's start with the men.
MVP for the men, I'm going to go Christian Sorum.
Christian Sorum?
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm going to go Christian Sorum. I thought they didn't get to this point without his ability to side out over and over and over again, because Anders was too crazy to serve the ball to pretty much this weekend because of that FU attitude.
Yeah.
And Christian continued to side out, continued to bring a lot of pace when even wasn't feeling good in the finals, maybe a little tweak on some movements. He was hammering, he was still hammering. Yes, the baby line wasn't working in the finals, but it was working all tournament long. And so the creativity, the rock, the foundation, I think, of Norway's, the stability of Norway's success rests on Sorum's ability to side out.
Just gritted it out. And you could tell the way he would come down super ginger and he'd get back up and you didn't know, does he have one more point in him? And he had one more point in him. And then you'd say, does he have one more point in him? He had one more point in him. And he just one more pointed his way to a gold medal at the Beach Pro Tour Finals. Very long deserved vacation for them. I'm going with Mr. Supernova.
Yeah.
Anders Mol entering Norse God mode.
Yes.
Unlocking. New level has been unlocked for Anders Mol, and it's frightening. The match, I think that the single most dominant match I've ever seen him play was the Joao Pessoa semifinals against Sweden.
Yeah.
The single most frightening match I've seen him play was the quarterfinals against Germany. Where it was a little bit, he ran hot, and it was almost a little bit angry, but it was this controlled anger where it was directed with a purpose, and it was, the swings that he was making were otherworldly. Mm-hmm. They were insane, and they were swings you can't teach. And for him to just unlock that new level and then to sustain it, because you can have one sensational performance and players always say, "Oh, I blacked out. Like, I don't know what happened. I was in the zone." And then the next day you have this come down. No come down. He maintained that level of play, powered through, smoked a good Qatari team in the semifinals, and then Anders he made it happen in the finals. And him and Christian, credit to them, they gritted their way through it. Congrats to Norway.
Yes.
Another title, ended the season on a high note. I want to know your breakthrough player for the men.
So my breakthrough player for the men.
And while you think on, I'll just address that it's the Beach Pro Tour Finals. We understand everyone has broken through here.
Yes.
However, if anybody caught your eye, stood out in any way.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Bormans. I'm going to go with Stefan Bormans.
Yeah.
I just thought he found a different way to really impact the game with his serve. We know what he can do offensively, and he didn't get served that often, you know, but laterally blocking, being in the right place, the communication, the body language, so many intangibles, I think, from Bormans, I think goes overlooked. But I thought he was phenomenal. He was bringing a ton of pace. When he got served, he made all the right moves. He was touching these soft blocks, baby touch here, and then just the serve. Just not jump serving and leading the tournament aces on the men's side. I don't think we've seen it.
Not much. And he didn't just lead it. It was double digit over the next closest.
Yeah. And so whatever he's doing right now with the serve and how he's carrying himself, I think it's healthy for him, and I think it's working. And like I said, he won here in Doha at the beginning of the year, so it's not a fluke that he's a good volleyball player. But I really liked what he did this weekend.
Yeah. And my breakthrough goes to a rookie, Adrian Karambula.
Yeah, I like it.
Adrian just sitting in the stands, hood up, stressing out, and then you saw his reaction. He hasn't been coaching them for long. Hasn't been coaching Anders Moe and Christian Storm for long. And Anders, he's been playing the long con. He's been giving him Norwegian cookies, playing King of the Courts with them, and then and Adrian's like, man, I think he's buttering me up. And he wants to play a couple, and then he says, you want to coach with me? And Adrian, we talk about this new level that Anders has unlocked and a different energy. And I think Adrian unlocked it.
Yeah.
And because Adrian's always had that kind of FU energy, right, and that swagger and that confidence. And what hasn't Norway done at this point? They've won everything there is to win. You've won a Stade, you've won a Vienna, you've won a Hamburg, you've won a World Champs, you've won 3 World Tour Finals, you've won an Olympic Games. How do you break up the monotony? You bring in Adrian Karambula, he lights that fire, and you get a totally new look from Anders Moe. And they were already kind of back, I guess you could say, and it was different. And so Adrian Karambula, coaching record 100%, as he said. Now I'm playing with Barcelona, and I got AI, baby. And so congrats to Adrian. Coaching's fun, man. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, really, really cool. It's cool to see the energy. I'm excited for that to continue with Adrian. So he's got to work out some details still, but he hopes that works out. And clearly, it's a good thing for Norway. I mean, they went into this first match and they lost. And we talked to Sharif, and he's like,
Adrian's fault.
Adrian's fault. He's like, I was telling Adrian, he's like, wow, you come here, they lose, they never lose their first game. They never lose their first game. And it didn't matter because they won the last game. And that's the one that matters.
That's it. On to the women, MVP.
Yeah, MVP for me has got to be Kristen Nuss. I think she was an absolute menace all weekend long. She had 22 digs in one match in just 2 sets. She had the crucial, most important digs in the finals that changed the momentum of the game. She hit some absolutely incredible magic shots. The one from 10 feet high set, she's on the ground, and I found out that she thought Taryn had touched the ball, and that's why she was still in the ground, and we're like, wait, get up. And Taryn put it super high, and Kristen's super late to the ball, and somehow she's like, well, I'm gonna either make a dumb swing or get the best shot ever and hit the glory. And she hit the glory because that's what Kristen Nuss does.
Winners win.
Winners win. She put the ball in the right spot, and Taryn set her up perfectly, and she scored when she needed to. MVP for me as they walk home with the gold medal.
I'm going with her teammate.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, Taryn Clothan. We talked about it a lot during the finals, how good of a transition setter Taryn Cloth is. Now, Kristen, she can hit these magnificent shots from all over the place, put her 20 feet off the net, slide approach, fade away, cut shot, whatever. But she doesn't have to all that often because Taryn, bump setting the majority of the time, is bumping perfectly, and it's a pretty small window. Kristen's 5'6", she's a magician, yes, but even a magician needs the proper materials to work the magic.
Yeah.
And Taryn just juices her. And so Taryn just did her job.
Yeah.
When a block was needed, Taryn's got it.
Yes.
Perfect set needed, Taryn's got it. Kills needed, Taryn's got it. MVP, Taryn Cloth. And I do feel kind of bad. So obviously the early afternoon matches weren't widely attended.
Yeah.
So we're up here commentating, and Taryn just got straight up served off the court against Germany. And I'm the only voice in the whole stadium, so I'm like, Taryn's passing kind of shitty. And she goes, I heard that. So, hey, you're my MVP, T.
Yeah, it was all out of love. It was all out of support. Look, you go on and win. So good work, a little motivation for you. So yeah, MVP Taryn, I love the call. Breakthrough women's?
Breakthrough female athlete.
Breakthrough female athlete for me. Shinyi Shaw. Did you know? Did you think I was going to say it, or you were going to want to?
I was going to take that. It's a good pick.
It's a good pick. It's a good pick. I'll give you a second as I talk about her to figure out your other pick. But yeah, I just thought I was just so impressed with her play, so impressed with her movement on the court and the variety of shots, the arm swing. You talk about the arm swing for her, and I love it too. I just love it. I love her game. Slicing balls here, chopping balls here, darts over here, calm, controlled power. And like, I don't know, she's got it. She's absolutely got it. She's bigger than she's listed for sure, because we walked by her, and I'm 6'4", 6'5", and she's tall. I don't think she's 6 foot or whatever she's listed as. Maybe 6 foot.
She's listed at 6 foot. I think she's definitely 6'1", 6'2", and she uses it well.
Yeah. So sorry to take your breakthrough performance, but Shinyi Shaw, that's gonna be mine. So who do you got?
Breakthrough would have gone with Shaw. I think that whole team is one of the most underrated.
Yes.
I think it is the most underrated in the world. And I think every time that we've had Therese and Meg have success, the breakthrough has been Meg.
Yeah.
So give me team money.
I like it. I think that's
the Rochester Rockets.
That's the choice. Ooh, we didn't really use that. We got to use that one.
I think she just doesn't get the credit she deserves all that often, because it's just she was responsible, and it was responsible. When she was winning medals with Syracuse, it was Syracuse, and then at some point there's a common denominator here, and that's Therese Cannon.
Yes.
And it's awesome to watch her develop. She's an elite passer, elite blocker, elite server, elite setter. She's complete, and I think that we have a very legitimate contender. If they stick together, I hope they do, because they kind of have that 2 + 2 is 5 type thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the LA Olympics.
Yeah, and I think Meg brings out the best in T, and T brings out the best in Meg. Their energy matches each other on and off the court, and we know that's very important. You can't just have it all on the court. It's got to be a little bit of both. I think the best teams have both, and T and Meg, it's a match made in heaven.
It's a match made in heaven. 2 + 2 is 5.
Yes.
Last notes. So this is the last tournament of the year. I don't know when the next time we're going to see you guys. We'll see when the schedule comes out. And so as a final wrap, do you have any best moment 2024?
Yeah. I think the best moment for me in 2024 was Rio and the Bayos winning.
Yeah, fun one.
I think that I felt the most alive watching that game, and I'm close friends with them, and so it meant a little bit more to me, but I've never really felt that kind of energy and adrenaline watching that match, and then seeing the energy from them. It was electric, it was contagious, I was emotional, I was getting teary-eyed in the booth, and so when you brought that up earlier, my first thought was Rio and the boys winning. Who they were here, they made it to the finals. It's a huge successful season for them. They've really put their name on the map as if it wasn't already, and so that was a meaningful moment for me, and just encompassing everything that we've been able to do here. It's still a little surreal that we're getting to do this and sit here with you, one of my guys, as we get to travel the world and watch all this volleyball and talk about it. So I'm just really thankful for all of it.
It's fun to do. And I think the one, the lasting memory, actually, and Frito's going to love this one. Guadalajara, baby. Going to Guadalajara, Coach Trav, me, Triborn, came shock. We got this sweet Airbnb. It was just hanging with the boys, barbecuing, coaching, and this was actually, that's where we first shot previews and stuff like this. And Finn Taylor, CEO of Volleyball World, hit us up and said, "Can you do that for us?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yes, please." And so now the boys have
Yes,
just
please.
been cooking. And so shout out Guadalajara, and a shout out to all of our crew back there.
Yes.
Everett Delorme, Dancing Everett, doing all the interviews. Josh Nakoba, rookie.
Welcome.
Rookie debut, made here in Doha. All y'all know Frito, Daniel Freitas, Frito the Translito, Raquel, Mama Raquel, the best. Paul, who made the strongest, that's my breakthrough athlete.
Yes.
Paul's graphics, god dang, dude, you were elite. And Sol de Diego.
Yes,
Mwah.
we appreciate you.
Beijos, kisses. Kisses to all of you.
Yes.
Love you all. Hope to be back next year. Shoots.
We're
out
out.
of here.
Bye.
Yeah.